Steve Bowers welcoming you to Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County school system. This program will cover several different elements, and we'll talk to the Chief Academic Officer of the school system. We'll find out about parental involvement, about early learning and English as a second language. We've got a lot of things happening in this segment. We're beginning with Rachel Scott. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
She's taken over the whole role of public relations, everything else in the school system.
Most of it, yes.
It's been assigned to this, but it's always good to have you with us. Is it going pretty well for you?
It is going really well.
Okay, good. So everybody's cooperating.
So far, yes.
Okay, good. Hope that will continue. We got registration that is underway right now.
We do.
So for what?
Our registration for the 1920 school year actually opened. If you are a current student, then your parent will log into their PowerSchool portal, and we'll have the registration through there. Okay. If you are an upcoming kindergarten student, then you would need to go online to our website at jmcss.org/register, and there's a place for them to do that there.
Okay, all right. So what is that process if I'm already in the system? Of course, I can be changing schools.
Sure.
Right? I mean,
yeah, and for the most part, there. Unless there's a change of address or whatever, everything can be done electronically inside of that system. Okay. And so it brings up all the stuff that they had before. They're making any adjustments, making additions. They'll sign their new media release so that when we're doing things like this, if we want to flash all their recognitions, we can do those kinds of things. And so that's included in all of those forms, and it's completely electronic now, which we love.
How is it handled then when people are moving into the community brand new, like during the summers and all of those?
Sure. So the registration will, they'll do new student registration, and then most of the time they'll go to their buildings and do that. The buildings that are
and we have a lot of movement within the system. I mean, people relocate.
We do. We have quite a few transient students, and even some during the year as well. But we have a great staff that helps making sure records and all those things get straightened out.
Anyway, take care of that. You know, August will be here before you know it.
Yes.
I mean, I'm still not quite used to school starting first part of August. So excuse me, but it does. We have an event coming up, and the school system has been actively involved in this. It's a community fitness launch initiative. It's called Jumpstart Jackson. And the Community Wellness Walk is coming up April the 27th. Correct. It's going to be the final one with Mary Gist. And Mary Gist and I think Nancy Zambito got this kind of started as a way to community fitness and health, and school system got involved in it because we wanted the children to be healthy. We had diabetes concerns and a lot of other things. So it's a big event, and the last one for the mayor on the 27th at 10 o'clock. So the school system actively involved with that this year.
Yes, very much so. And we want everyone to come out and join us. We're very excited about it internally and trying to make sure everyone knows that we're going to
pray for good weather day that day.
Yes.
And traditionally, we have been blessed with those things. I've been MC for those things several times, and actually walked a few of them. And so that's the 27th. Now, the schools had registration, all this stuff at one time. Is that going to be done this year, or is it just kind of come on your own?
Yeah, I mean, you can do both. I think at the school level, there's stuff that Annette Wilson is doing to help get registration done for that. But then, yes, you can come that
As a child of the 60s, they have these wonderful tie-dye T-shirts to be given away to everybody who registers. So, hopefully I got one in XXX or whatever it is I wear now. And so we'll see there on the 27th. Queued up for kindergarten is?
Yes. So Nova Early Learning Center is hosting an event on April 25th. Okay. It's from 5 to 6:30, and it's just about transitioning from pre-K into kindergarten. Okay. And so all of our kindergarten teachers from across the district will be there. Okay. So that parents can meet them, and we want to make sure that people know that that's an event that's open to them. Okay.
That is April the 25th. What day of the week is that?
I believe it's a Thursday.
April the 25th at Nova pre-K. All day or?
No, it's from 5 to 6:30 p.m.
5 to 6:30 that evening. April the 25th. I got a child coming into kindergarten. But it happens quickly, doesn't it?
It does.
And here they are. All right. Well, good luck with this. Good to see you. We'll see you back a little bit later in the show. We're going to continue. We have several people we're talking to. Angela Searcy is coming up next as we continue this Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County School System here at E+ TV6.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world.
Yeah, you.
Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star.
I dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration.
An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you.
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you.
Welcome back to Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County School System. We're talking to Angela Searcy, who is the parent engagement coordinator with the school system, which involves what?
This position involves conducting parent workshops or trainings. We also do a variety of different things in the community. I collaborate with Rhonda Hurd and Megan Taylor, and we help families in need if they need uniform clothing, school supplies, and we also just do a variety of different things together. So parent engagement isn't just workshops, it's actually helping families.
Of all types.
Of all types.
Right. Yeah.
I lead a parent advisory committee, a PAC meeting for the district where we have teachers that are part of that. We have parents, and then we have community members. So it's just a position to where you're working with families and you're also working with agencies that can provide services for our district.
You know, public education, the objective is to educate everybody, provide that opportunity for every child. They come out of many different family situations, so it's really good to have this position. And what comes out of those sessions when you have these collective meetings?
Basically, the sessions are developed from feedback that we've received from parents on district parent surveys. And we also look at our district E-plan at the goals for the school, which are literacy and math. And so I look at what's going to be the most beneficial for the families based on those areas.
You just completed, or in the process of raising highly capable kids.
Yes.
Okay, so what was that like, or what is that like?
We had around 15 parents that went through this 13-week parenting course, which focused on 40 assets. And these 40 assets they include everything from helping your child with the self-esteem, social skills, their sense of self-worth. And because these parents went through these classes, their students are supposed to be able to achieve higher levels in school, and it is supposed to reduce problematic behavior in the future, potentially.
People do this voluntarily, obviously.
They do it voluntarily, 1 hour a week on Tuesdays. We actually had 3 different cohorts of this group going around in the community. I had the noon class. We have a teacher at Isaac Lane who had a group of parents that came out to our school in the evening, and then Matthew Marshall at the Hands Up preschool had a group. So Pat Todd brought this grant to the city of Jackson for the class, and so we went through an extensive training, and then we were able to be trainers.
Is grant dependent? Will it continue? Will this program continue?
I'm waiting to hear back from Ms. Pat Todd regarding it. But even if the grant doesn't continue, our school district will still continue to offer
this program. How do people find out about this, and how can they enroll, or when does that process open up?
Enrollment will begin next August, toward the end of August, and registration will be available online on the district website.
You got a special meeting coming up April the 25th that we need to talk about, right? What is this?
We have a PAC committee, PAC. Those letters stand for the Parent Advisory Committee. And that is going to be our last meeting for this school year.
You meet how often?
We meet probably about 5 to 6 times a year.
During school year.
And the PAC is basically a kind of an advisory group that helps us plan for district workshops and initiatives for parents. And so we want to make sure that parents are invited and that they join us so that they can give us feedback at this meeting for what they want next year.
This meeting then, April the 25th, will be held where and when?
It's going to be held at the central office on 310 North Parkway from 4 to 5 o'clock. They can bring their kids if they need to. We don't mind if their kids come with them. We'll have refreshments, and we'll basically evaluate the types of things we did this year and look forward to next year's seeing what they would like for us to have for them.
Angela Searcy is with us, and she is the parent engagement coordinator for the Jackson-Madison County School System. We're about to head into summer.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's downtime.
Yes.
It can also be a loss of academic progress time as well.
Potentially, yes.
I was kind of stunned when you came last year because it was like you lose 20 to 30% or something during the summer.
Yes,
and so we'd like to not have to start over.
Right. The research says that students that come from low-income families can potentially lose up to 2 months of reading skills. And so regardless of what summer camp or what parents are looking at doing with their children this summer, reading is essential. And so if they can read even 4 to 6 books during the summertime, then that loss or that gap potentially may not even occur. So it's providing enrichment activities in your home regardless of your environment.
All right, so how do you get involved with this then?
The Summer of Learning workshop is going to take place on May the 9th.
May the 9th, okay.
It is a Thursday. It's going to be a lunch and learn at the People of Hope Church, which is located on 636 Wallace Road. We will have 2 sessions because everybody's schedule is different as far as lunch breaks. So we will have an 11 to 12 session and then a 12:15 to 1:15 session. And our focus is on pre-K through 8th grade, but we will also have a special presenter for upper grades. A high school principal will be helping us, which is some general tidbits for parents, and we'll have representatives from some of our summer camps. But the main thing is we'll be able to provide our JMCSS families with some actual materials they can use at home to stimulate learning. So if you don't have a lot of educational materials, you come to the lunch and learn. If you reserve your spot, you'll receive some additional books, materials to actually use for your child for the upcoming grade.
Pre-K through 8th is pretty broad thing here, okay?
Yes, sir.
So how does this work then? Well, I guess obviously different levels of material for different.
Right. So, for example, if you're at the workshop and you have a 7th grader who's going into 8th grader, there'll be an 8-week curriculum or 8-week activity book or practice book that covers math, science, English activities that you can use over the summer. Plus, we'll have additional activities that you will be able to take home if you register in advance for the training.
All right. I can see parents being very interested in this. I can see students
and it's
going,
bilingual materials we ordered. So.
I see students going,
well,
excuse me.
It's amazing. If they spend 30 minutes a day.
A day, I can see this.
And with parents, if they see you reading, and if it says that they actually acquire more when they choose the reading materials, you're not saying, hey, you have to do this. You know, you have things that they enjoy.
Okay, so reading material could be actually be something I like.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like
and
textbook
it says
reading.
they enjoy
Sit down,
it and retain
hush.
more.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, but it's crucial that this be done.
I feel it's critical because the achievement gap, usually by the 9th grade, if children have not, if every summer they have lost the 2 months, then you really see that.
Okay.
And teachers see it when they come back to school, for the next year.
How many people participate in this?
Last year at our Sliding into Summer workshop, we had around 60 families.
Is that right?
That came out.
Okay.
That's why we're doing 2 sessions and not the one group this time. Hoping that we can accommodate
If people just
those.
can't make, the schedule doesn't allow to make that session on the 9th, is there this information or type of information available on a website or something?
Yes, on our JMCSS website, last year and I feel like this year there will be summer learning materials, websites, different things families can use that are free to them to still stimulate summer learning. And I'll have materials, if they contact me, I'll have additional materials because I'll be doing additional summer trainings during summer.
Oh, is that right? So you'll continue to do this. So what is the best way to reach you?
The general number is 731-664-2500.
Okay.
And my direct number is 506-3062. But if they call central office and ask for Angela Cersei, I'll be able to assist them.
How long have you been doing this with the system?
This is going into my 3rd year.
3rd year, okay. What have you seen?
I've seen an increase in parent engagement.
Okay.
A lot of our elementary schools have really strong programs such as Pope Elementary, Andrew Jackson. They have strong parent involvement. As we get up to the middle school and high school ages, parent involvement in the schools, it declines. In some schools, I don't want to speak, out of turn, but those are a lot of our middle school parents and high school. They do come to the district-wide website. So I feel like I am seeing an increase in engagement.
We're going to be talking about English as a second language coming up later in this program. The school system is much more diverse, I think, than many of us realize. And I guess you see, parental situations that, are challenging at times, out there. So it's a matter, I'm glad you're there to help coordinate all this.
Yes,
all right. The meeting on the 25th will be the council, and then May the 9th, the meeting for the summer learning program. And so just talk to Angela Searcy with the school system, and be sure to get signed up for that.
Yes, please
All right,
register.
It's good to see you. Appreciate what you do.
You.
We're going to be back with more. We will talk about English as a second language and other things as we continue this front row, our look at public education of the Jackson-Madison County School System here at E+ TV6.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming! We're going biking! Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Welcome back to Front Row, our look at public education of the Jackson-Madison County School System. Still to come, we'll have a conversation with Jared Markle, who's the Chief Academic Officer of the school system, and Mary Myers, who leads the Early Childhood Leadership Council program, and find out about what that's all about. Nancy Ibrahim is with us right now, and she heads up ESL, which is English as a second language.
Yes.
How extensive is that need in our school system?
We have about 10% of our students in the district are ESL, so that means they come from a background that has a language other than English.
Are they more concentrated in certain schools, or is it kind of system-wide?
Yes. So Thelma Barker, that's our largest school. That has,
okay.
we have about 300 ESL students
wow,
at that school.
Is that right? Okay, yes. That's interesting. Well, at least you got everybody together, right?
Correct.
Okay,
but district-wide, we have about 1,400
1,400 students. That's because it's a much more diverse population than we think here sometimes.
Correct.
And so, what does that change for them as far as being in school? What are you trying to do with ESL?
So we're just trying to help them learn English, so we work with them on the domains of listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Okay. Well, coming up is a special festival. It's an international festival. It's coming up May 3rd. It's going to be at North Parkway, which is a middle school now. Is it middle school? It is a middle school.
Because it's been back and forth.
Correct.
North Parkway Middle School. So it's coming up May 3rd. So what is this event?
So I have 15 teachers on my team, and each one of them will be representing a different country, and most of them have students from that country that they're representing. So there'll be 15 different countries represented, and they'll have like decor, they'll have things that their students have worked on, research projects, and items, crafts that they've made to use as decor for their booth. They'll have food. Okay. And drinks from that country. From that country. From that country that either the families have donated and cooked for the event, or some of the teachers have ventured out and tried to make it themselves.
What day of the week is May 3rd?
It's a Friday.
Friday, so it's a Friday.
Yes.
Okay. Is it all day or?
No, it's from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m.
So it's in the evening, 4:30 to 6:30 after school. Everybody invited to this?
Everybody. We would like for the whole district to be able to come, all families. Anybody in the community?
Community wanted to come. All right. So you've been doing this prior year. So obviously, what are you hoping to achieve with this?
I think it just brings awareness of the other cultures and and ethnicities and things that we have within Jackson. So all of the countries represented, we have students from those countries within our district and our community.
Okay. So an opportunity for the community to see what's going on there with this program as well. So you have 15 different teachers.
15 teachers, and so there'll be 15 different countries represented. I could name a few of them. Egypt will be represented, China, Japan, the Philippines.
Okay.
So those are just a few of the countries.
Obviously, of the 15.
Yes.
So how do the students respond to this? Do they like this, or is it?
They do, because they get to be
keep
involved
Nancy
with
out
it.
of the building. She's got extra work.
The students get to be involved with it. The students that are in classes, so they're involved with it. Helping prepare, and they're getting to learn about those countries, because not all of them are from that country that's being represented. So they're learning about that country, and then so they're coming and helping at the event, either at the booth or volunteering. And then the families. I've had so many families that came up to me after the event and are like, "Thank you so much. I learned so much about so and so country that I didn't know about before." We'll also have performances too from some of these countries.
All right, it'll be on Friday, May the 3rd, from 4:30 to 6:30, North Parkway Middle School, and just an open invitation. Anybody in the community who wants to be
Anybody
there.
that would like to come,
So
we'd love to have them.
15 different countries, and 1,400 students in the Jackson-Madison County school system for whom English is a second language.
Correct.
Okay, so it is a much more fluid world, I think, than sometimes we think or realize. And there are population concentrations in this, and so some schools more effective at this than others. Yes. And ESL program's been in existence how long now, on an organized basis?
So this is my 13th year. I think in Jackson-Madison County, it's been, I think, about 20 years.
20 years, okay. Interesting. It is an international world, and this is an international festival, and that's coming up May 3rd. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
We're going to be back. Dr. Jared Markle is coming up next as we continue Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County school system here at E+ TV6.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Welcome back to Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County school system. We are talking with the Chief Academic Officer of the Jackson-Madison County school system, Dr. Jared Markle. Always good to see you.
Good to see
Appreciate
you.
the opportunity to talk with you always, and there are many things going on. One thing, the LOOP application process is open right now. What if, for folks that do not know, LOOP is?
LOOP stands for Local Options and Opportunities Program. This is a very innovative work-based learning program that we've designed where students have the opportunity to work in a industry setting for part of the day, and then to finish out their high school credits for the other part of the day. So we have students working at Stanley Black & Decker, TBDN, Old Country Store, and Gourmet Your Way. They're earning a nice wage, bringing home a nice paycheck, but they're also earning industry certifications that they can carry with them for the rest of their life, real-world experience that they can add to their resume, and finishing up their high school diplomas.
What is the application process like?
So it starts with an online application that can be found at jmcss.org. They fill out that online application. They have to list some information and make sure that their credits are where they need to be to participate in the program. They actually go through an interview process with the school district, and the employers. It's a big, round table interview. And then they do a tour of the facility that they're interested in working at to make sure that their parents are on board as well.
This is open to students in what grade?
Right now, seniors. We have a few juniors in the culinary program, but mostly seniors in terms of the advanced manufacturing side.
So if I've got a senior coming up next year, it seems this fall, I need to do this now.
Yes, definitely check it out. Yes.
And then now, in some cases, like at Stanley Black & Decker, they stay there the entire day, right? They do their classwork there and everything else.
Yes, they do. We have a couple variations within the program. We have a classroom space at Stanley Black & Decker, and one of our teachers is there all day with those students. And so they come in and out of that lab and go on to the floor. At TBDN, we run a shuttle from Liberty Tech, and then we have students who have their own transportation drive themselves. And for our culinary students, they're provided transportation as well.
All right. Well, it's been an extensive program. We're seeing the same thing at junior college level. I know Jackson State's doing these kind of programs. So
yes.
It's really a step up.
Yeah.
I think for students that are moving in
It's great. They're proud. I was in a school yesterday. Student had on his uniform from his work site. They take a lot of pride in seeing their name on that badge. So it's very neat.
That's good stuff. Anyway, get that application in jmcss.org, and it's the LOOP program, local options and opportunities. Well, we're headed toward fall and into spring here, and are about to wrap up the school year actually. But you've implemented some curriculum changes or some things that are coming up this fall. In what areas? Now?
Sure. So as a reminder for folks, when our team, when Dr. Jones started in the summer of 2017 and some of us came on board and got a plan together, we didn't have anything. There was no curriculum. So we started with math and English, and that's been implemented over the past year and a half. This spring, we've started implementing our middle and high school science curriculum, and then next fall, we'll finish out our major subject areas with elementary science and then social studies, kindergarten, all the way through high school.
How do you put together a curriculum? What's that process?
Well, it's not easy. We rely on experts in the field for math and English.
Does that mean a certain set of textbooks or a certain set of approach, or textbook obsolete terminology?
Yeah, curriculum is an umbrella, I guess, term for lots of things. In English, it's definitely not a textbook. We've compiled, truthfully, the best resources in the country to provide our teachers, to instruct our students, and we're seeing the immediate benefits of that. Science and social studies at this point is still more of a traditional textbook. And so teachers will take that, and that will be the curriculum they use for those classes. But the most important thing is that we have an obligation as a school district to provide teachers with the resources they need to teach students so that they can focus on teaching them more effectively.
Okay. All right, so what has changed then as far as social studies and social sciences?
Well, there's been some updates to the academic standards at the state level that then translate into what the curriculum actually is, so in terms of what they are going to be teaching. And so the curriculum has to be updated to reflect that. So there's definitely more of an emphasis on including text and literature in the lessons rather than just remember all this stuff. Okay. They're actually going to be analyzing documents and charts and graphs and building in some more of the critical thinking skills that are going to hopefully translate as they enter into the real world.
What does that change for your faculty members?
They have to really go back and be reflective on their teaching processes, making sure that we're allowing students to do a majority of the thinking in the classroom, and to make sure that our students have the time to really grapple with these difficult concepts.
Yeah. I've always been a fan of history, but I found it abhorrent. I met one history teacher one time whose technique was you get this workbook, you fill in the blanks. He said at the back of the room.
Oh, yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
You check, make sure, I thought, man, what a missed opportunity in this
we want to move away from that. Yeah. We want to see kids reading text and thinking and talking about what they read and expressing opinions based on what they read and justifying those things.
But you've been at math and English for a year and a half.
Yes.
Are you seeing demonstrable changes in performance?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. We are one of the fastest improving districts in the state, and everyone should be excited about that, and everyone in the community should be proud of that.
Okay. All right. So you are implementing some of this this spring, the rest of it in the fall. Is that the final implementation, or are there other areas?
Well, there will always be tweaks. Okay. That will round out the four.
But that'll round out the four major foundation.
And then every year we'll have to reevaluate and add some things here and there. But it's been a tremendous effort to get these 4 in place in the course of 2 calendar years, because it generally takes 6 years in terms of the state's textbook adoption cycles. But we've moved money from all different kinds of places to make sure we're able to purchase these things for our teachers.
So in 2 years, done the work of 6.
Yes.
And so you'll then watch with interest what happens in those performances next spring, I guess.
Absolutely. It's an uphill climb. This is not even though we've done this in 2 years, it's not a 2-year process, it's a 10-year process. And Dr. Jones is always careful to remind people of that. We're definitely trying to work our way out of a place that wasn't very good in terms of test scores.
Yeah.
But we're seeing progress, and people are continuing to trust the process that we've put in place. And, so far, we've had the results to show to support that.
I find it stunning and disappointing that we had not done full textbook adoptions in this county for years. And thus the curriculums were inconsistent from school to school. That's abhorrent, but is being addressed, and so that is a good thing. I want to ask you, Romo, because the evaluation comes down to the state of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
The state of Tennessee adopted what they call the T and Ready program. They kicked out the evaluation system that we had. Not that Dr. Sanders was the be-all, end-all of all that, but it kind of functioned into a T and Ready system. And this is not Dr. Markle saying this, is me saying this. It was anything but ready. It never has been ready. It never has worked. So we've gone for years now without meaningful data. The state of Tennessee is finally saying, okay, we're going to go back to pencil and paper, and we're going to test this way. Is that a good move?
Hey, I'm a history major, so pencil and paper is fine with me.
It's good with you, okay.
Yeah, so supposedly we will be pencil and paper testing next school year. We do have some online testing going on right now this spring. We're prepared to take what's put in front of us. We're confident in the work that our teachers are doing and that our students are doing. And so we'll take the test they send us and use that to make the best decisions we can moving forward.
And I don't want to drag you into politics of the state of Tennessee, but is that just a one-year situation that they're looking for a vendor or whatever that can?
That's our understanding. Okay. I think it truly is a move made out of caution to say there's been some issues with online testing in the last few years. Okay. Let's take a beat and do this online and spend the next year and a half really working out with a new vendor and feeling comfortable about it.
I know one of the objections of T and Ready was to get away from the system that we had, testing system we had, because they felt like that there were better ways to evaluate a student and essays. I mean, there are other options out there. And so does this paper test, is it the same test just done through paper?
Yeah, it's the same items. So the move to T and Ready was a move to make sure that we were actually given an accurate picture of what students were able to do. We were saying on the old test that 90% of kids were proficient on everything, and then our ACT scores don't look great.
I think Governor Preston was the first one that said, "Hey, we got a gap here." Right? we say we're good. It's just we can't play in the major leagues.
No truth in advertising on the old tests.
Yeah, okay. All right, so it's all being done, but as far as what you do, because part of the accusation is you teach to pass a test, and what I hear you saying is we're trying to develop curriculum that will match whatever they send us?
Yeah, we're not teaching to a test. We're teaching to life. I mean, and the skills that students are going to need to succeed out in the world. We've actively discussed with our principals not teaching to the test and we're not shutting down schools to do test preparation. We're continuing to have our students read and talk about what they're reading and to really dive into math conceptually and try to master these things.
It's good to see you. Appreciate what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Dr. Jared Markle, he's the chief academic. Like I said, I said one time he's the head coach. He said, no, the superintendent's head coach. Maybe the offensive or defensive coordinator, whatever. Mary Myers is coming up next, and we're going to talk about Early Childhood Leadership Council, find out what that includes as we continue. Front row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County school system here at E+ TV6.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
What this place needs is better graduation rates.
What this place needs is less childhood obesity.
What this place needs is free help with taxes.
What this place needs is healthy breakfasts.
What this place needs is fitness programs for kids.
What this place needs is early readers.
What this place needs is mentors for teens.
What this place needs is people to join us. What this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org.
Welcome back to Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County school system. Mary Myers is with us. Early Childhood Director, Coordinator?
Yes, sir, leader of Early Foundations.
Early Foundations. One thing that's happening right now, and that is that we're in pre-K registration, a very important step for many families. That will continue until the end of May?
Yes, we are currently taking applications for pre-K, and it's a two-step process. One, you apply online, as we mentioned earlier, and two, you have to bring your paperwork to Nova Early Learning Center.
Okay.
We take that, we will be taking that until May 24th.
May 24th, okay.
Yes, sir.
So apply online and then bring the documentation. What all are you looking for? What documentation do you need?
I'm looking for proofs of residence within Madison County, income verification, birth certificate, medical record, current physical, and shot record.
Okay, so all those things.
Yes,
and
sir.
Is that information on the web as far as?
Yes, it is. You just visit jmcss.org.
How's it going so far then?
Well, we currently have 203 completed applications. That means 203 students are ready to be seated. We do have about 175 who've applied online, but as of yet, we don't have their completed paperwork. So we encourage everyone to bring that paperwork out to Nova so we can get their files finished
You
up.
can currently handle how many children?
At this time, we have 400.
400, okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's close right now. And then, but there's a possibility if some grants are successful, there may be some other opportunities out there. And not all the pre-K programs are income driven, right? Some
That's
are,
correct.
some are not. All right, so if you got a child, you want to be in pre-K, apply.
Absolutely. I encourage everyone who's going to be 4 or have a child that's going to be 4 by August 15th to apply for pre-K.
All right, so that is underway. But that's not what we're here to talk about in this segment. So what's happening? We have something called the Early Childhood Leadership Council.
Yes,
so what
sir.
is this?
Well, early in the school year, Dr. Miracle and I, we discussed the fact that in prior years, we used to have a collaborative group that met of people who talked about all the things going on in early childhood. And so what we did is, with the Chamber of Commerce, Jackson Chamber's help, we began this particular group. So we started back in October, and we discussed the idea of what would a kindergarten-ready student look like. So our major work for this particular school year was to work up a pamphlet and some information about what uniform kindergarten-ready targets would be throughout our Jackson area.
Who all's in this council then?
Well, what we did is we took the actual list of child care providers for Madison County, anyone that was licensed, and we reached out to all of those individuals. So we reached out to our private schools, anyone who had a child care facility, and we met with them. Currently, we meet with Matt Marshall of Hands Up. He comes regularly. Kids First, Miss Amy Wall comes. First Presbyterian Play School, Miss Jennifer from there. Kathy Cawthorn from West Tennessee Healthcare, she comes and offers quite a bit of information for us. Jessica Beavers, Therapy and Learning, Beth Boyd, Tisa Day, local colleges, Nancy Hickey, Jackson State. So we have quite a few people.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so the idea is, and some of these people are directly involved in working with children this age as to what needs to be done to have them ready for kindergarten.
That's correct. That was our actual initial thought. We have people who are practitioners who are working currently with children in early childhood. So we know what we need in a kindergarten-ready child. So as we met collaboratively, and we met usually every 4 to 6 weeks, we would come together and meet about an hour with a topic, with the whole goal in mind of making kindergarten readiness targets so that we could share that document with incoming kindergarten students.
Is this group going to continue to meet then?
Actually, we are. What our goal is now that we have finalized our pamphlet, it's almost finalized and almost ready to publish, our next step would be to take the information inside the pamphlet, the different various categories, and then develop some training or workshops for parents that will help those parents prepare our children more so for our kindergarten.
Okay. I see child care centers all over this city.
Yes.
Okay. Opportunity for more and more people. I would think you'd want everybody that's involved in child care to become part of this type of effort.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to speak about it today. We think it's very important to have as many people who are working with young children or young learners be involved in this. We want everyone's input. So the Chamber sent out, like I said, an invitation back in October, and since then I have regularly emailed consistently everyone that was on the original list. You know, anyone who feels like they could contribute, we would love to have their input. They just need to reach out to me. I'll be glad to take that information. I can share our website, or my email rather, mpmyers@jmcss.org.
MP like it's in Paul?
Yes, sir.
MP or military police or the MP?
Yes,
okay,
MP
Myers, MYERS.
Yes.
At jmcss.org.
Yeah, I'd love to have input and offer them an invitation to come.
Okay. Well, let's go through then. What are the criteria? If I've got a kindergarten child, what should that child? Like I didn't go to kindergarten. You know,
yes,
they didn't have them in Alabama. The private ones would.
What our targets have is we have components with self-regulation, social and personal competency, physical development, some personal information, language development, math, and some just general information that they need to know. So we have that broken down, and we have descriptors of what they are, and then examples for parents. So it's a very user-friendly document.
Do you assess children when they come into kindergarten then?
At the beginning of the year, our kindergarten teachers do give an assessment, yes.
Okay. If a child doesn't have these or whatever, what happens then to try to adjust to that reality out there?
Well, we carry on with kindergarten because it's age appropriate for them to be there if they're 5 by August 15th. We provide intervention inside the classroom, and we work extra with those students.
But the intent now, or hopefully with people that are caring for children, then is for everybody to be aware that this is kind of where a child needs to be, and to start gearing things within their curriculum or daycare or whatever to.
Yeah, this is like a baseline. It's not comprehensive, but it has a lot of the early foundational skills that will help them to be most successful from day one of kindergarten.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Once this is completed, finalized, then it will be made available how?
Absolutely. We're going to give it out or our plan is to distribute it at the Transition to Kindergarten meeting out at Nova on April 25th. We also have, we'll have it online, I'm sure, and be able to have it at all the child care facilities. I'll be glad to pass it out and give it to them. So want it to be a community document that we use.
Now that the criteria have kind of been set, then this group, what will be the function of the Childhood Leadership Council from now on?
Moving forward, our main goal will be, to take each section, develop some things and strategies that would be beneficial to parents so that they can use those inside their life with the children and work on helping them ready their children for kindergarten. So we'll continue to meet.
Obviously, you've got direct connection with people that children are in the school system's pre-K program.
Yes.
All right. So that's one point. For people that are not, then what would be the mechanism for them to get this or communicate with you, or just to say, okay, here's my child headed where?
Well, what we'll do is, as I said, we'll take all of our caregivers will have these, and we'll try our best to get those out to everyone. Kathy Cawthorn works with a lot of the child care facilities here throughout the district, and she's got her hand to help us with this and help us distribute it as well.
Yeah, have they generally been open to this?
Oh, absolutely. Our collaborative sessions have been awesome. They come in, we meet, we have great conversations. As I said, this document was not a work of Jackson-Madison County School System at all. It was truly a collaborative conversation. We email it back and forth. We make tweaks to it. So this is even though I'm speaking about it today, it's a community document. It's something that we've worked collectively together. And I do encourage others who work in the child care field to reach out and be a part of it with us.
What was their assessment of where we are as far as children out there? Do they feel like there's a lot of work to be done?
Well, young learners are young learners, and everyone matures and develops at a varying rate. So, as we know, this is a baseline, and so this is something great. It's a target to shoot for. So,
all right. Well, so this effort will continue.
My goal is for it to continue. Yes, sir.
I wonder how much this will change then, because it seems like the demands now, I mean, the pre-Ks, more and more people getting pre-K, acceleration, academic, we want everybody reading by grade 3, reading at grade level. I mean, there's just this real push out here if you'll see these criteria continue to move.
Well, I'm not sure, but as I stated, this is a baseline, and it's not comprehensive. I want everyone to be sure they understand that. It is a baseline. If we could just get this uniform throughout our district, it would be a great starting place to launch them into continuing their education in kindergarten. So.
The Early Childhood Leadership Council, and once again, if you want to talk to Mary, M.P. Myers, M-Y-E-R-S, at jmcss.org. And you're open to expanding the involvement of
Absolutely.
child care.
I would love to. I welcome
do you know how many licensed child care facilities we have in this county?
I believe about 45.
Okay.
That's just off, if I have a document I can tell you, it's about 45 that we contacted. So we encourage everyone to contact us if they would like to continue to be a part or are not a part of it yet.
Okay. And once again, and be looking for this this information because it will be out at community events. If you're because you maybe have a child that's not involved in any of that. But kindergarten is on the way.
Absolutely. We're excited about it.
Okay, very good. And pre-K registration continues until the 24th of May.
Yes, sir.
And you do that through jmcss.org, and then you'll have the documentation that's necessary, and you can get that out to the Nova Pre-K Center.
Correct.
Right, and we'll be ready to go. Continue best with this. It's a real key step out here. And,
Thank you.
We're going to be back. We'll wrap up this program as we continue. Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County School System here at E+ TV6.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Welcome back to Front Row, our look at public education of the Jackson-Madison County School System. We're back visiting with Rachel Scott. We thank all of the people that have been with us in this program. But we want to emphasize spring testing underway right now.
Correct.
And we'll go all the way into May.
All the way through the beginning of May.
Okay.
Yes.
So who's being tested or what?
So all of our students, 3rd through 8th grade, as well as our high school students will be tested over the next month. And so we had this week a lot of the science testing because it's a field test this year. It's happening this week with the beginnings of all of our ELA, math, social studies testing happening after that. And then of course high school end of course exams will happen closer towards the beginning of May.
Okay, but this testing is these are evaluation tests or whatever?
Yes, this is T and Ready. All of the T and Ready assessments that are through the state, correct.
Okay, so it applies to everybody 3rd grade all the way through the end of high school?
That's correct.
Okay, wow. And this becomes, when it works, and like I said, we've had some reservation about this, but when it works, it becomes the database for the school system and for teachers and for everybody to look at progress, how things are progressing, how students are progressing, because it involves every child. There's data on every child now.
Yes.
Which is a good thing in many, many ways. It depends on how it's interpreted and used and how accurate it is, and we get into all those discussions, but it's underway. So what do we need to be doing then as parents and guardians and whatever?
Sure. We encourage parents to make sure that students are getting enough rest. We know that, spring has definitely sprung, so they want to be on that, on their games and on the, videos and whatever else.
Yeah.
But making sure that there's, really a time for them to get plenty of rest. Those 7 to 8 hours are really important. And then making sure that we get students to school on time. If they are present. Okay. If they aren't present, they have to do makeups, and then that can be complicated, not just for school staff, but for them.
These tests are they is it all day, or is it a certain time of day?
Most of the time they don't do it all day.
Okay.
The schedules are flexible. The schedules are flexible by school.
Okay.
They do it based on their individual schedules and what works best within their schedule. And so, like I know Northeast is doing, their assessments happen in the morning every day. So it's like the first 2 hours of the day. And then they adjust their schedule accordingly in the afternoon to see the rest of their classes.
So it varies from school to school as far as the schedule.
Correct.
Everybody's got to do these tests, but it will vary. So how do I find out about that then?
So your school is sending out information in regards to the schedules, but you can also contact the school at any time, and they will make sure that you have the schedule of when everything is happening over the course of the next few weeks.
Okay. There's no way, it's not like cram for this. There's no way to prepare for this. You either
No,
prepare
we've
or
been
not,
doing,
right? We've been doing that all along,
you heard
right?
Dr. Myrickle talk earlier about our ELA and math curriculum that we are doing all along the way, and it's building knowledge and skills throughout the year. And so this is not time for kids to be anxious or upset. We know testing, we hear the word testing, and we automatically think that, there's, and we call it high stakes for us, but really making sure that students know that this is really just a chance to show us everything that you've learned throughout the course of the year.
So it's not one of those, we're going to cram for this, it's too late. It's there, it isn't, and hopefully it's there.
That's right.
The assumption is it will be there. So not a stressor, not, what are you doing? You need to be on the books kind of thing. It becomes the database for education all across this state. And we talked to Dr. Markle, before, and Tennessee's gone through some significant changes because, not that our testing system prior was flawed, but our data was not meshing nationally with what was going on in the nation and the expectations. And so we thought we were doing much better than we were, I think, in Tennessee is what we found out. So these governors have tried to address this in each administration, and it continues today, as we've talked about. So just be ready for this. This will continue until the first part of May.
It will continue until then.
And then we'll get ready to get finals and then head for the summertime.
That's right.
The calendar, has that been adopted yet for next year?
Yes, the calendar, we actually start August 5th for students. 5th. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's right around the corner.
There is no summer vacation anymore.
Well, with all the mandates and requirements.
Well, Angela Searcy was talking about this, the decline for some children in their reading skills and everything else during the summer. So maybe the long summers are not a good thing. But, so we've taken care of that deal. We don't let you out till the end of May, and we'll bring you back the 5th of August.
That's right.
All right. So be ready. We have all the registrations and everything else too that are underway, and so keep those in mind. We talked about that earlier. So go to jmcss.org. And take care of all that thing. And so we're looking forward to a good summer.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. We're going to come back. We have some recognitions we want to talk about with the Jackson-Madison County school system. And we will do that with Rachel Scott as we continue. What is your title now?
My actual title is Leader of Professional Development.
Okay.
It encompasses a lot of things.
And somehow it began to encompass public relations and television.
Yes, I'm interim public relations coordinator.
Okay, so they did put that as an interim. I start saying, it's like, excuse me, that is not leadership development. It does not include this. All right, we're glad to have you. We're going to be right back as we continue. This is Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County school system here at E+ TV6.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
leave something to remember, so they won't forget I was here.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. For 100 years, the Boys and Girls Clubs have opened this door for America's youth. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Welcome back to Front Row, our look at public education of the Jackson-Madison County school system. This is the final segment of this program. If you're just joining us, hope you'll catch us on replay. We talked to Angela Searcy, who's the parent engagement coordinator, about a lot of activities that are going on to engage parents of the students, deal with every child in the community, the public school system, or potentially every child in the community. They come out of a diversity of situations. We were reminded of that with Nancy Ibram, who coordinates the English as a Second Language program. She's been doing this for 13 years. It's got a 20-year history here in their international festival that's coming up. And then Jared Markle, our academic officer, and Mary Myers with the Early Children's Leadership Council. So we've got several things to cover that we have covered. So I hope you can catch us on replay if you're just now joining us. Before we get away, there's some students you'd like to recognize or events or whatever. So what's going on?
Yeah, so we're really excited about the things that have gone on last month with our students. We have, I know that Dr. Markle talked earlier about the LOOP program. Right. We also have a lot of dual credit that students are doing. For instance, at Early College High, Jackson State, they are actually doing their 2-year program in their junior and senior year. And so we got
students this year will graduate with a high school diploma and an associate arts degree. That's pretty exciting.
And we had 2 students that actually qualified to be in the 2-year College Honor Society.
Is that right?
So we were really excited about that.
Graduating with honors.
That's right. That's
from
right.
College.
From both, right?
Right. So that is quite stunning.
Absolutely. Okay. We actually have high school students actually across several of our campuses that will graduate with their associate's degree. Okay. We had some students that went to SCOPE with the school board, which it gives the students, high school students from each of our campuses were able to go spend some time with board members, look at the legislative bodies and see kind of how that process works with school boards. And they came back really excited about the things that they saw. Yeah. We had a student who placed first in the Daughters of the American Revolution essay contest.
Is that right?
So we were excited for her. And then I know that we've talked a little bit about Launch, which is our district's approach to career readiness from K through 12. And so in elementary, there's kind of an awareness built. In middle school, we want them to be exposed to a lot of different careers and kind of determine what path they want before choosing a path in high school. And in March and beginning of April here, we've had a lot of industry speakers come in and speak with our middle school students. And so that's been good to see their interest there.
When they respond to this?
They do, and it's really cool because they've taken their aptitude test as well that kind of shows us specifically in 8th grade, where they take that test and then they are kind of, it shows them the areas that they might be good in based on their interests. And so that kind of all filters in together for them.
Well, it's exciting to see. You know, I think you know, single incidents can make the news, and people can say, well, there's just not anything going on in the school system that's any good. And a lot of us have been out of school so many decades that, you know, what we remember has probably been filtered through time. Sure. Probably looks a lot better than it was. And I'm sure we didn't look nearly as bright to our teachers as we thought we did. Yeah. You know, when we compare it now. So it's good to see these things that are happening out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had a teacher too that I wanted to tell you about it. One of our teachers had applied for a scholarship. We partnered with WGU, the Western Governors University.
To make education available to people that are employed full-time with the school system.
Correct, and she actually applied, and they awarded her a $10,000 scholarship in March. So it's going to pay for her degree, so it's awesome.
It's an opportunity. We have a lot of good teachers, assistants, and everything. You can be good teachers, and so it's providing some that, as well as academic advancement. So it's exciting. Well, I appreciate you putting this together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a good program, and Rachel has stepped into to this role, and it gives us a good overview. Hope you'll spread the word about Front Row. We've been doing this show now for several years, but Still many people are not aware of it, and let them know there are good things happening in the Jackson-Madison County School System. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll see you again next month. Thank you for being with us at our look at public education front row with the Jackson-Madison County School System here at E+ TV6.